very special guest today who got a last minute call that he got to go to court to handle some business. Nothing criminal, real estate actually, which when you think about the city of Baltimore, and that's where we are. Welcome to the New Life Recovery Show. When you think about the city of Baltimore, housing is often an issue. So is employment, and all of these things can weigh on our mental health. I know firsthand. That's why I went to school, college, try to get some skills to become self-sufficient, to have some skills under my belt. Because I tell you, as I'm driving through these streets and walking through these streets, I see so many of us, people of color, standing around doing nothing. And it's a shame that people with so much potential are just standing around doing nothing. Saw a man on North and Fulton just a few minutes ago, bent all the way over. And this show, by the way, is not just about recovery, drug and alcohol, gambling, which Ven McCormick and the New Life Recovery Center team, they address it head on like it's nobody's business. But this show is about a broader spectrum, our mental health. If I think better, I do better. So we were able to find a replacement guest, but she's more than just a replacement guest. She's so much more. As a matter of fact, I called her last night to help a young man. Did he contact you?
Yes.
A young man who called me out the clear blue, lifelong friend, and he was dealing with a legal matter. And what better person to call than Lisa Pierce? Lisa Pierce, welcome back.
Yay.
Network to this particular show. We are so grateful to have you. Tell them what you do, Lisa.
I am a reformed train wreck. No.
A reformed train wreck. I am too.
So I took all of my troubles and solved, I found Christ first. And
don't blame it on Jesus.
No, I found Christ to help me solve them. So, because it's too many of them for me to solve on my own. And it's interesting because, you know how you ask God for things like he's Santa Claus? I didn't ask God for things. I asked God to make me to become a better decision maker. Help me to make better decisions. So I looked at my whole entire life and I said, okay, what could I have done differently? What would I have needed in order to make a better decision? And that brother that you said you saw on Fulton Avenue, that's a lack of confidence and faith. You understand what I'm saying? We all escape. That's the way that brother, and I'm gonna lift that brother up in prayer. He's escaping. Me, I escape with buffalo wings. I need to get away from those too. So
I escaped with Cool Ranch Doritos. Oh my God. I done put them down for 5 days now. I miss my Cool Ranch Doritos.
Escaping in something, right? So
or some Briar's Rocky Road. I gotta watch that Briar's Rocky Road.
Oh my goodness. It's all a form of escapism. It's a form of escapism. And so some of us,
that heroin is more than some escape. That's some long-term escape.
Well, it speaks to just how much pain a person is in. Does that make sense? I mean, I'm saying mentally and emotional pain, because some of us want to escape to the degree of disappearing. And so heroin is something that will it will separate you from who you really are.
So will that Ready Rock?
Right. And so
the liquor worse than both of them combined.
Yes. I have a son that, fights with the demon of alcohol, and he was missing, and I got a, I haven't slept in, since he was missing, and I got a call from a treatment facility. He was in the treatment facility. I went to see him yesterday, and it's amazing how, as a parent, when you lay eyes on them, I'm not saying all is forgiven, but I'm saying all is forgiven, right? Because that's still your child. That's still your child. And he came, I had to, bring him some toiletries, and some older brothers came out with him. And I asked God, I said, God, put some words in the mouth of those older gentlemen that they can feed my son, because like I said, we all can learn from anyone.
Now, I was playing a couple of songs. I had to run some errands. My neighbor had an emergency, and I put on 2 songs.
Okay.
One was "Safe in His Arms." You know that song?
What was it again?
"Safe in His Arms."
Yes. That's not a song. That's a hymnal.
And then I played "To the Utmost." You know "To the Utmost"?
I don't know that one.
You heard it.
I probably heard it.
Some people might call it "Jesus Saves."
Oh yeah, I know that. Yep.
It says, I heard joyful sound. Jesus saves, Jesus saves. He will pick you up and turn you around. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Yes, I do.
Hallelujah. Jesus saves.
Yes. Oh my God.
Sometimes you just got to meditate on them songs the old people used to sing. You don't know what I'm talking about. Love lifted me.
That's why I said it's not a song. That's a hymnal. That's a rock of ages.
I was sinking deep in sin, far from the peaceful shore, very deeply stained within, sinking to rise no more. Then the master of the sea heard my despairing call from the water, lifted me, now safe in my.
Thank you so much for that. You asked me earlier, what do I do? I don't run. One of the things I do is I don't run from hard stuff, right? And the reason why that's important is because we have some brothers and sisters that's dealing with some hard issues, right? And I'm just so concerned with the mental health of, our sisters and brothers, our brothers especially. And I have a project called the 551 Project, where I work with the 551 prisoner to professional 551 Project. And it's where I take 5 justice involved individuals. I work with them 5 months, so they are ready on day 1. And so, and the reason I do that, and the reason I keep it at a number at 5, is because they give me their undivided attention, and I give them my undivided attention. And so yesterday, 2 of my young men in my 551 Project, they self-disclosed to me that they had open warrants. And they scared to come outside. They scared to, and all that kind of anxiety, Donnie, it builds up your resistance for your blessing. You can't get blessed when you're depressed, when you are, anxious, when you're unsure, when you're crying. And one young man was crying because he's really trying, but he has a girlfriend that she needs $400 for her hair. And that's putting pressure on him. And you're my brother. And so you know where I stand on, young women putting unnecessary young brothers.
Because we're watching too much social media.
Yeah.
We're trying to keep up with the Joneses. We're trying to keep up with people You know, these entertainers, they don't look like happy people. They look like some
Oh
really
no.
miserable people. They got millions and millions of dollars, but they got something going on upstairs too.
Well, you have to understand is that it's not what we see on social media, it's what we don't see. And what we don't see
The stuff that's
are
swept under the rug.
right, how people are doing some unseemly things to become famous, people who
Or
have
like
not
laying
even,
on the sofa.
right, but also people who remember, talent alone will not make you successful. You need character, integrity. You need you need to be surrounded by the right people. You know, so just being talented is not enough for you to become successful. So, you know, why do you think you have these fentanyl deaths from these celebrities? Because once again, it's a form of escapism because they can't, some of them can't even read their own contracts. Some of them don't even realize that they signed a contract that gave them 250,000 in advance, but the attorney that got them to sign got 2.5 million. You understand what I'm saying? And so when they realize that they're, you know, they're missing some pieces, you know, now they're kind of out there trying to keep up with the Joneses now.
Hey, let's just put Michael Jackson and Prince out there. Their
Oh,
deaths
sure.
are still mysterious. And
Oh,
both
sure.
of them were very wealthy and controlled a lot of things that I believe Sony and other powerful entities did not like. Mike Jackson owned the masters to some of the Beatles, if I'm not mistaken.
Of the Beatles.
The Beatles. Too much power in this world filled with non-black demons and some black demons too, because his doctor, Michael Jackson's doctor, had to be a snake in the equation.
Well, you have to understand that, and I was talking to someone recently about this, about you know, compromise and how people will cut corners and do anything to become famous or become wealthy. But what is mistaken in everything is God sees everything. God sees everything. And when you are doing something nefarious to try to get your wares, as they say, God sees it all. God sees it all. And none of us are on the kind of time that God is God's time. That's why I don't worry about the negative things that happens to me, you know, because God sees. But you know, my husband gets on me all the time because I volunteer a lot. I give away a lot of free services. My husband feels I should get paid for all the work I do.
But you think it comes back to you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
I know it comes back to you. Not slighting Alvin. Hey, Alvin, put your gun down. But it comes back in ways that are supernatural.
Absolutely. Not even when I'm expecting it.
Yeah. Keep on doing God's work for me. That's what I do. I'm going to keep on doing what the Spirit instructs me to do, because you can't beat God's given.
You can't. I told you that I teach at the very prison where I was once incarcerated. And when I show up to class, like, so it started off with 4 people. When I went last Monday, it was 22 individuals in that class. They had to give me a bigger classroom.
You like Harriet Tubman, you going back to free the people.
Yes, yes. And they did surveys, and it just melted my heart what they wrote about the impact that my training is having on them, how they're thinking about things differently, how when they get released, how to say, how saying no is your friend. You know, I don't care what
do you mean?
So one of the things that get us all in trouble is failing to have the confidence to say no.
I should have told this man no this morning, but he said, I got to get to the doctors. I said, you're going to make me late for my show. He said, I got to get to the doctor. This is my neighbor. And I had to take him.
Well, no is your friend.
I had to take him. His car was broke down, and he looked like he was about to have a nervous breakdown in the street.
Now, I understand that, and that's why I keep a student emergency fund that includes Uber and Lyft rides, because I have.
Well, I'll tell you this. I put Uber back on my phone because I took that joint off.
Yeah.
But I had to put it back on there.
Yeah.
For that very reason.
Oh, no, some things.
But then the Uber thing was $20. I was like, I might as well take you myself.
Some things you have to answer the call. You did what you were supposed to do, but not every situation requires a yes, and so
I'm learning that, Lisa.
Oh no, it's a lifelong lesson for all of us. And so I asked my incarcerated, young women, I said, let me see your hands if you are in here. But things would have been different if you said no. About 75% of the class raised their hand. Because somebody will say, oh, but if you love me, if you would do this for me. This is why we're not.
Give me that guilt trip. Come on now. Hey, folks, don't go for that. If somebody got to game you, they got to throw a guilt trip on you, leave them the hell alone.
Leave them alone. Leave them alone.
A friend wouldn't do that.
Well, and
not a friend.
What I tell my students is, we all need love, because man was not put here to be alone. But we have to love ourselves enough, because if you love someone, but you left 3 children home, you're here, you have to love yourself enough to stay with your babies. And that's what, I keep it 100 when I teach. I keep it 100. And that's why they wrote in their, their training surveys, they wish they had known me, before they got to prison.
I'm going to tell you something. I have a tendency to go to rural farms. After dark, don't ask me nothing. Don't ask me for no change. Don't ask me for the time. Don't ask me nothing after dark. You know why? Because you had all day to get your stuff together, but you want to push up on somebody trying to get a little coffee or a little, I love their fried chicken. Me and Pharaoh, we split.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, you want, and then the other night at the rural farm, these 2 little boys asked this lady, Miss, can you take me home? I said, lock them up. Let me tell you why. Clearly, an adult has them out here, and as soon as that lady put them in their car, ain't no telling what these 2 little monsters, 2 11-year-old monsters. So I sent the manager out there because they weren't hungry. The manager gave me something, and it's like, too much. Get your damn kids.
So I was driving up Baltimore National Pike one day, and I saw a little girl trying to cross Baltimore National Pike. And so I turned my car around and I unlocked the back door, and I told her to get in the back because she was going to kill herself. And I took her back to her school. Now, I'm not angry about what happened because the truth stands alone. Only a lie has to be propped up. When I took her back to the school, someone called the principal, and the principal asked me to go into the gym, and she locked me in the gym and called the police. Now, I knew what my intentions were. I knew I did no harm to that young lady. And that principal had every right to protect her student. When the police came and they questioned, and let me tell you how, can I just give it the shout out to God real quick? Can I give a shout out to God? While I was driving the little girl back to the school, she told me her mother worked at McCormick. I called, I know all the employers. So I called McCormick and I was able to get her mother on the phone. And so Somehow, the mother beat me to the school. And when she saw me, she tackled me. She said, "Thank you. Oh my God, thank you." And see, that was nothing but God, because that principal was convinced that I did some harm to that baby. But for some reason, that mother got to that school before I did. And when she saw me, she hugged me, she tackled me. And so I had no reason to be angry at that principal. She didn't know me. You know, the little girl
You
didn't know
brought the
me.
kid back.
I brought her back to the only place where she could be safe, which is her school.
Somebody should have put the principal in a damn, locked her in a gym.
She locked me in the gym. And you know how I found out she locked me in the gym? When the mother got into the gym and tackled me. And the Chris was like, "Well, let's take this to my office." And she was like, "Oh, let me unlock the door." So I didn't even know I was being held against my will. But no, I took that baby back to, I said, "What school do you go to?" And I asked her, "Why was you trying to cross?" She said, "I was trying to walk home because this is the way the bus takes." She was not going to make, her little legs weren't long enough to run across Baltimore National Pike.
God sent you to save her life.
Yes. And I even understand
Did the
why.
principal apologize or seem apologetic?
Oh, yeah, the principal apologized. And she said, "I just wanted to protect the student," because she was
Well,
little.
you didn't. She didn't. That kid got out.
Well,
the kid got out of school.
She got out. Well, let me explain what.
And they didn't put an Amber Alert or nothing out.
No, so the little girl was she missed the bus because she had detention. And she didn't want to get in trouble. So she was trying to walk home, taking a route of the school bus. But like I said, it was nothing but God, because I don't know what location of McCormick that the mother worked in, but the mother she got to that school like minutes after I got there. And like I said, I wasn't even far from the school. When she got in that gym, and because I talked to her, I said, "My name is Lisa Phillips." I was Phillips back then. I said, "My name is Lisa Phillips, and your daughter was trying to cross Baltimore National Pike. She's in the back of my car. I'm going to let you speak to her, but I just want you to know I'm taking her back to the school." And I mean, come on, like, we all know how fast those cars speed on Baltimore National Pike. And this is how she was trying, like she was going to run. And I said, "Let me turn this car around." And I turned the car around and I said, "Get in the back seat." I sure did. But it's interesting because the principal, not only was she apologetic, she wanted to give me some kind of award or something. No.
That's what adults do. We see something that needs to be done and we do it. We don't need no award.
Well, I didn't need an award because like you,
your reward come from on high.
She could have handled that differently. She didn't even talk to me. She just told me to go to the gym. She could have said, "Have you talked to the mother?" But it was the mother's response that caused the principal to rush us out the gym, because she knew she could have handled it better.
God don't like ugly and care less for beauty. That's what my mother and father said.
Oh yes, and then, like I said, it was God's will to send that mother and for that mother to react, because sometimes God will send people to do the bidding for you. I didn't have to say that I was innocent. The mother's action, because I had the presence of mind when I put somebody else's baby in my car to, what's your mother's, where does your mother work? She worked at McCormick. She said, "I got my mother's cell phone, but the mother didn't. Her cell phone went to voicemail, so I called the company."
Give me a success story of somebody you've helped. Tell me about one of those ladies. Any of the people who were formerly incarcerated now making whatever happened to the Muslim sister you brought on our show, our Radio One?
She came back to me. She's in nursing school now.
She
I
was
love
formerly
I love when
incarcerated.
the students come back. But you asked me about the women down at the prison. So I have a success story from 2 weeks ago. A young lady named Kia, and she was incarcerated for a domestic violence situation. She was extremely abused as a wife. She took my training. She got released 2 weeks ago. My job is to turn the prison into I'm just gonna keep it 100. Turn it into a community college, with and so including employment. And so I already am blessed that I already have one hospital system installed inside the prison. And so
Wow.
when she got released, 3 days after release, she got interviewed by that hospital, and she is on the onboarding process to be made a peer recovery specialist for that hospital. See, there's a speed to life.
Should we put your number and information out there for anybody? How do people get in touch with you, Lisa Phillips?
So they can reach me. My phone number is 443-591-2658. They can reach me on Instagram at celebrate_careers. Or you can reach me on Facebook at Celebrate Us Workforce Training.
Celebrate_careers
for Instagram.
And then Celebrate
Us Workforce Training on Facebook.
Why do you do this?
Well, so
this
the
is
blessing
contact information right here.
Mm-hmm. So if you're not going to keep people in prison for the rest of their lives, you need to have a way forward for them to take care of themselves. Because people act like it's not their problem, but there's a part of me when I see a young man walking down the street talking to himself. That's trauma. That's trauma.
Have we seen so much trauma that we're just numb to it, Lisa?
Well, we're numb to it, but so many people are trying to stay above water themselves that they don't want to take on other people's problems. That's why I love my husband so much, because my husband provides a way of living for me that I can take on some things. Does that make sense? So, so I don't fault people for not wanting to get involved. I try to be understanding. And so that's why you have to marry the right person. I married someone that whether I got money towards the house or not, the bills are paid. I haven't paid a bill in this house in 10 years. But I know everybody don't have the privilege of that. Does that make sense? I contribute to the house, but I do it. I'm not bound to do it. My husband is very understanding and very responsible, and he knows that he can't. It would be like wrestling an alligator to take me away from what I do. So,
But he knew that going in.
Well, he knew it going in. He calls me a pit bull. He said, once I get on something, that's it. And so I love that I have somebody in my life that understands me. I really do. And so I'm grateful for that. But to whom much is given, much is required. Because I have such an amazing situation at home that I know my needs are being met. Yes, on my day off, I go down to the jail. I go down to the courthouse to get some warrants recall. Yes, on Mondays I volunteer and teach at the prison. Yes, I'm going to do a Ravens um, gift basket workshop with the men at Christopher's place. So yes, to whom much I have too much not to give back.
Did you ever think when you were behind the walls that it wasn't going to get better?
Yes, because I burnt about 75 bridges. So when you burn so many bridges, you just eventually give up on yourself. And so I lost my kids. And so I had a laundry list when I got released, and it was really centered around getting my kids back. And so, but that's where I finally submit to the Lord, that Lord, I can't do this by myself. You know, I need too much. I needed a house. I needed a job. I needed a car, you know. And this was in the 90s when all these resources that are available now weren't necessarily, you know, I had to do it on, you know, as they say, on balls and knuckles, right? Like I had to do it, you know, I had to get it out the mud. And so, but it only could happen, it only gets activated. Everything you need is only activated with salvation and faith. So once I got saved, and once I understand what faith was, then I learned what confidence was. I learned what self-esteem was. I learned that, you know, I can keep it real with you, that I didn't have to prostitute to eat. You understand what I'm saying? Like I could use this. You know, the Lord put in my brain, put in my mind that this is the sexiest thing that He's given me. And so, yes, it was times when I didn't think I was going to make it.
They call that a sapiosexual, by the way.
Well, that's effective.
Yeah, we're attracted to intellect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, and I teach my students that don't ever depend on whatever you do outwardly to be able to feed you. Everything you need to feed you and to take care of your babies is here and here. You know, this is all you need, because this will activate this. And so everything that comes out of this will be right.
If the spirit is right. Because I know some people, they real smooth with this, real smooth. But their integrity, their word. I was taught that your word, especially as a Black man in America, your word is all you got.
I teach something called becoming the CEO of you. Everybody thinks that the CEO is glamorous. You know, yeah, I'm bossed up and yeah, I'm this. But people don't understand that in order for a CEO to lead, a CEO has to.
We're talking with Lisa Pierce here. If you need a JOB, Lisa can help you. This is her contact information. What a powerful story. A person who has gone from a troublesome situation to freedom. Married, mom, and is there in her children's lives. She is a reminder that parenting never stops. She's a reminder that we were put here to serve each other, to be a blessing. Some of us wouldn't help Jesus, but others of us would help anybody. She is a reminder that before you go helping a bunch of people, help yourself. There's a certain selfishness that's not bad. That's good. There comes a time when you got to do some things for yourself that if you don't do it for you, ain't nobody gonna do it. It's like when you get on that plane, the flight attendant will say, in case of emergency, put your oxygen mask on first and then put it on the baby. You like the baby? Yeah, the baby. Put it on yourself. Because if you ain't no good, you can't be no good
take
to
care of the
nobody else.
baby. And that's what I tell, you know, my students. Number 14 out of the 20 traits of being the CEO of yourself says, keep your word. And if you can't keep your word, give a quick response and an explanation as to why, because your word is truly your bond. People understand that things happen. You know, don't bend over 9 ways. If you can't do it, you can't do it. But if you can do it and you promised it, then do it. Marilyn Mosby is just such a dear, sweet person. And she's such a dear friend to me. Back in 2017, in December, I had a project going with her. And I had identified her community outreach team gave me 16 families that lost loved ones to gun violence that had children 10 and under in that family. And so I got the children's size, the toys. And so by December, I already had plans to deliver those toys on Christmas morning. Well, December 11th, I was diagnosed with a brain tumor. And I didn't tell anyone. And Marilyn was mad at me. She was like, you could have told me. You could have told me. I would have. And I said, no, because I already promised those parents. They were already disappointed. I was not going to disappoint them. And so my friend from 92Q, she got one of the Q DJs to drive the 92Q van around to deliver those toys. And I went home and got in the bed. I slept through Christmas. And then I went back into the hospital, you know, because like I said, I was going to keep my word to those 16 families.
What kind of job training you got available right now?
So that's not the best question.
What's the better question?
The better question is, what is it that you would do if you didn't get paid? You love it so much that you wouldn't care if you got paid. That's the career I'm going to put you in.
Counting money.
Okay, I'm going to get you a job at the Federal Reserves. Because that's all they do.
Don't put me over there. I might be tempted.
That's all they do is count money.
Count my money.
Yeah. Oh, you want to count your money then? That's different.
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I love what I do. I love journalism. I love highlighting the beauty in our community.
Why don't you do a?
There she go, freezing up. We're talking with Lisa Pierce here. Let me tell you, there's been all kinds. Are you there? It kicks you out. I guess you got to go out and come back in again. There have been all kinds of glitches going on. I've had cell phone calls just drop. Have you experienced that? Talking on the phone and the phone just dropped. The call just dropped. Out the clear blue, boom. The past couple of days, this whole network has frozen up. I've been freezing up. My guests have been freezing up. And I say something that's happening in the whole internet world. I don't know what it is. Don't want to start no rumors, but something ain't right. Cyber attacks. But nonetheless, Lisa makes some really great points that we have to give back. We have to be a blessing. We were just talking about living one's purpose, doing what we were put here to do, Not everybody finds what it is that they were put here to do. Everybody has a gift. Everybody has a gift. Here she goes. Would you agree with that, Lisa? Everybody has a gift or gifts?
Everybody. And that's why when people call me and say, oh, what do you have? No, what do you want? So I'm a servant leader. So, I'm here to serve. So no, you tell me. I tell my students, you're my boss. I work for you.
I could be mayor of Baltimore.
Sure. Why not? What's holding you back?
I don't know if that's really what I want to do, because I might end up chasing one of these reporters down the street. Mackenzie Frost come over here asking me a bunch of damn questions. I'm still from North Avenue. I'm liable to throw her in the trunk of the car, take her for a ride.
I always tell my students, because I get asked about politics all the time, and I said, no, I'm from Lexington Terrace, the buildings. Don't get it twisted. I went to school with members of the Wire. I went to school with them.
Not the members of the Wire, the members of the real Wire.
The real Wire, who the characters were based on. Yep. And so, but I have everything from, let me tell you what I love that I got coming up for my justice involved young men. I have facility maintenance to build an engineer with connecting them with Morgan so they're gonna get a facility maintenance training. They're gonna get a job doing facility maintenance with one of our employers, and one of our employer partners is gonna pay for them to go to Morgan for building engineering. See, that's how you shrink your record down. Everybody needs an engineer.
A building engineer, and you get to go to Morgan for free.
Yep, your employer pays for it. So that's what I was with someone yesterday. We drove by a road crew. We drove by a road crew, and so those are inmates that clean the highway. So the person challenged me. They said, okay, what would you do with them? They cleaning the highway. I said, okay, I would put them in my building integrity or architectural program. And he said, why would you pick building integrity? Because they're cleaning the highways. They see the cracks in the infrastructure. They see cracks on the rails, on the petitions, the safety petition. So they are already familiar with what disruption to the infrastructure look like. They're looking at it every morning. So I'm going to take that lived experience picking up trash on the highway. I'm going to take that skill and I'm going to complement it with a architectural education so they can become. So when buildings are built, the last person they bring in is an architecture that looks at the integrity of that building.
Good stuff.
See, I don't play about my young men.
Have you ever heard back from the young man that we were working with most recently, the younger brother?
So yes, and he started my September 23rd class. And that class ended October the 7th. His exit interview, so he originally picked CDL, but then he changed it. So yes, he had excellent attendance. He participated in class, and so like people say I post a lot. I don't post everything. You got some people doing some wonderful hard work.
And easily that kid could have been in them streets slinging. Easily. I'm so glad he met you.
Oh yeah. No matter what you say about the young people, we're gonna have to deal with them no matter where they land. So instead of them landing on a corner, let's help them to land in the C-suite so that they helping us buy a home, or they helping us get long-term care insurance so we can go into a good assisted living. So let's help control where they land, because you still got to deal with them if they land on the corner.
I had a discussion Saturday with a young man, very brilliant young man.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to him, to the men, if you're not going to raise them babies, then don't make no babies.
Well, what I would say to that is, if you're not going to raise them, then raise your hand. Let me help you. Like I have a partnership with child support. They love me at child support because you know what I do? I meet the men right where they are. And so the partnership, child support, on my word, and to God be the glory that he has afforded me this. If I say recall that warrant for child support, if I say suspend that child support, he's going to send a good faith $100 payment from my program to the mother. But I need you to suspend that child support just for right now until I finish working with him.
Yeah, we need to get your number up and out there, because there's a lot of cats and their license get taken and they don't know that they actually have rights. If you need that driver's license.
Well, no, there are options.
There are options that a lot of us don't know about until it's too late.
The best kind of life is a life with options. You have options. Don't sit there and be angry. And you know what's beautiful about it? They text me pictures of them taking their children to the park, taking their children, because they are only underground because somebody got their foot on their back. Does that make sense? They want to see their children. I got more pictures in my phone of children I don't know. But no, I love my young men. I love my young men. So
thank
if you have
you for being a blessing to our city. When I talk to you, I think of the therapeutic value of somebody who's been through something, helping somebody who's going through something.
Yes. And the bottom line is,
because you understand. Because you understand.
Well, not only that, but one of the things my students love is my own transparency, because when I got saved, God took that shame away. Because you could die in shame. Does that make sense?
Yeah, not saying help.
Right, exactly. And so all of us have done things that are shameful. But you can take that shame and turn it into shine.
The word says all have sinned and fall short
of
the glory of God, from the Pope to the pimp, to the pusher to the preacher.
I had a young man in 2021. He was a nursing assistant when he came to me. He an RN now. He an RN at Johns Hopkins. And the industry needs so many more men, because men can physically do things that women can't do. And so being a male nurse, don't say that you're feminine. Being a male nurse, that you're the strongest on the team. And I'll give you an example. I had to have an epidural once when I was delivering my baby, but at the time, the nurse I had, she was like the size of a 9-year-old. She was so small and petite. And one look at me, she went and got a male nurse. You know what I'm saying? Like, so no. So I really encourage young men. As a matter of fact, Howard Community College, one of my partners, they got something special for you if you're a male interested in nursing. They got something special for you.
What they got? I'm curious. What they got?
Oh my goodness. They have a Latin lamp program where you don't just graduate as a nurse or RN, you graduate with this very elite RN award called the Aladdin Award. It is so beautiful. You actually get an Aladdin, award. And this student of mine, he got it. And what it does is it helps you earn so much more money, and it puts you in a very elite status of nurses.
Wow.
Yep. Oh no. If you come to celebrate us and you're serious about turning your life around, oh no, my job is to make you a rock star. So I'm not a rock star and I don't care to be. My job is to make my students the rock star.
Yeah, after I watch all of these celebrities being outed for going to them parties, I don't want to be famous. I didn't want to be, I don't need no famous.
Give me the fortune. Give me the fortune. Forget the fame. Give me the fortune.
Lord have mercy. What else we gonna talk about? You have saved this show, because I tell you, I know them people was ready to replace me. I say, no, you won't.
Oh no. So I want to talk. Well, you know what? I done ran in here. Can you mute me? Put my audio, my video on mute so I can run and get my charger.
Yes. So we're talking with Lisa Phillips here, and we're talking about all things about empowerment, employment, getting our lives together, overcoming drugs, overcoming alcohol, overcoming the stigma and the challenges that come with being incarcerated. Lisa is a person who I call on many, many times out here in these streets. Hey, Lisa, I got a young man who says he's ready to work. I have a young lady, she needs a job. I have somebody that's interested in training. And this lady picks up the phone, just like Moses Hammond. I haven't brought Moses on in a while. Maybe I need to bring him on next. These are people here in the city of Baltimore who are willing to help anybody, just like the fireman and the paramedic help anybody. People like Lisa help anybody. If you're trying to get your life together, black, white, Asian, Latino, what have you. Now, she specializes in our community, but she will help anyone. And so there's a number. If you're looking, you may know somebody who's behind the walls. She says she visits a women's prison here in the area. That's the number, 443-591-2658. She got an Instagram, celebrate_careers, and on Facebook, Celebrate Us Workforce Training. So if you want to make a difference, if you want to make a change, whatever your situation, drugs, alcohol, gambling, and then let's not forget New Life Recovery Center. If you, in fact, need the detox, hey, there's a place. There's a number right there at the bottom of the screen. Call Vin McCormick, 240-253-3663. And we're going to get the final leg of words and information from Lisa Pierce before we close out for the day. Again, I do apologize. Our guest that we had to go to court last minute, but nonetheless, God is more than able. So let me unmute you, Lisa. There you go.
Yes. So you asked me what we're going to talk about, how we're going to end the show. We're going to end the show talking about the babies. We're going to end the show talking about one of the things that I'm going to be doing this summer is I'm going to be, because the people that end up on the corner, they were 9 and 10 years old. They ended up on the corner because no one gave them anything else to look at. So we're going to give them something to look at. And so I'm going to be creating an entrepreneurial camp where AutoZone. I think I shared this with you. And
but that's where the young man was working, the one we brought to you. Okay, and they fired him.
Yes. And so, do you know?
Before he came to you.
Well, see, here's the thing. we have to help our young men see their brilliance. That young man is so impressive. He's, oh my goodness, you know,
Boy, he could be a kingpin if he chose to.
well, and the thing is, you know what his superpower is? His superpower is he has the ability to bring people together.
Oh yeah, he's a leader.
Yeah, we had to redirect who he was bringing together.
That's all.
Yep. He, him,
At least,
and his.
Lisa, that's just like them teachers that want to put our little boys on Ritalin because they got so much energy, especially non-black teachers.
You have to channel that energy. Don't dull their shine.
Yeah, they keep wanting to put our kids on that Ritalin.
Yeah, because they want to. It's called classroom management. You know how to manage the classroom? Give them some tasks. Give them some things to do in the classroom. Don't try to drug them, because I had the best pediatrician. My pediatrician said, if your child have a headache, give them a nice warm bath and give them, something, one of their favorite foods. Don't start just giving them Tylenol, because that's how addiction starts. She was a holistic pediatrician, and she was right. If you got a headache, go lay down, And I really think it was because of how my pediatrician, because I was a young mother too, how she really taught me how to manage medication with my children, is why I never used drugs. Because she would tell me, so I would go take a bath, or I would go lay down, and I never used drugs. You know what I'm saying? And so we have to give young people something different to look at. And so because all young people understand how to wash a car. They understand they got their uncle washing the car, they got daddy washing the car. And so I partnered with AutoZone. And as long as I, God bless them, they gave me a corporate account. And as long as I purchase items from AutoZone, I'm going to teach them how to make a car wash kit. And AutoZone is going to sell it in the AutoZone store. They're going to put it right in the front. And it's going to have a tag about the student that participated in the program. And so now I'm just trying to find a nonprofit to donate the percentage, because I'm not a nonprofit, but AutoZone is going to donate a percentage to a nonprofit. So I'll probably do Vehicles for Change, since it aligns with, what they do, and I'm on their advisory board. And so, so we are going to, we're going to uplift the babies this summer.
Good stuff. Lisa, any final thoughts before we get out of here? And thank you for taking time to save this show today.
Oh my goodness, please. You are a blessing to me. We are beyond friends. We're family now. So the only thing that I will say is that if anybody is in any kind of trouble, all of us, not just me, we have resources. Raise your hand. And you got some people. Like, let me just give a quick shout out to the CEO of the United Way, Franklin Baker. You got some soldiers. You got some soldiers that are doing some wonderful work for some families in Baltimore. And so if you know anybody struggling, get them help. Call 211 and get them some help. And, I don't care what it is that they need. 211 is manned by the United Way. So they have the bandwidth and the resources to help you with whatever you need help with.
Good stuff. Lisa Pierce can be reached at 443-591-2658. Celebrate _careers on Instagram, and Celebrate Us Workforce Training on Facebook. We love you and we appreciate you.
Yeah.
And thank you to Alvin for sharing you with us.
He gonna get me good, because I'm giving away something else free today.
If I think better, I do better. We'll be back Friday at 12 noon.
Yeah, bye.
Bye-bye. Good afternoon, world.